Never speak of yourself in ways that summon the very shadows you wish to flee. If we keep whispering, "I can't," "I'm worthless," "I'm nothing," we raise invisible walls between our hearts and the dreams that wait beyond. Yet, when we declare, "I'm trying," "I deserve this," "I will succeed," those quiet seeds of light sprout into strength, faith, and victory. Words are the mirror of the soul's hidden beliefs, and those beliefs slowly weave themselves into reality. Speak of yourself with reverence, bathed in the glow of hope. Let every word be a current of energy that lifts you, never a chain that drags you down. Life already hands us enough storms. Don't become the voice that wounds your own spirit with darkness. Learn to speak to yourself as you would to a cherished friend, gently, with trust, and overflowing with encouragement. For sometimes, a single positive sentence each day is enough to turn a shadowed dusk into the dawn of hope. Every patient carries within them the healer who belongs to them alone. Inside each of us lives a healer faith, optimism, the fierce will to live and rise above. No medicine works like steadfast resolve and unshakable belief in oneself. A body that listens, a mind that rests in peace, a heart that cradles hope. These are the rarest remedies. This inner healer wears no white coat, writes no prescriptions, but mends with trust and the pulse of life itself. When we believe recovery is possible, the body answers with miracles we never dared imagine. Illness can be a harsh trial, yet it also whispers, "Return to yourself, listen, nurture, love more deeply." Healing power flows not only from a doctor's hands, but from the quiet light burning within us. Trust that inner healer. It is the wellspring of every wonder life can offer. The one who loves themselves truly has no rival. When we love ourselves fully, we no longer need to prove anything to the world. Every race loses meaning. For happiness lies not in outrunning others, but in becoming a brighter version of ourselves each dawn. Those who love themselves do not boast or gloat. They quietly tend the garden of their soul, watering gratitude, cherishing strengths, and cradling flaws with tenderness. They know when to strive and when to pause and breathe. That serene grace leaves them unrivaled, for no one can defeat a heart no longer tangled in the race of comparison. Loving yourself is not selfishness. It is honoring the worth that already lives inside you. Only when our own heart is full can we offer others love that is whole and healing. Our passions reveal who we truly are. An artist's soul trembles with sensitivity. An explorer's heart hungers for horizons. A helper's spirit overflows with boundless compassion. Passion is a wordless tongue. It bears our essence, our yearnings, our deepest values. When we do what we love, eyes ignite, voices soften, and our whole being merges with the river of life. In that instant, we are most authentic, most free, and most radiant. The passionate soul hears an inner call, dares to live differently, steps beyond safety to discover its true shape. And sometimes, that very passion becomes the compass guiding us through tempests, keeping us from losing ourselves amid the chaos. The one who composes their own life is wiser than the author of any book. The noblest creation is not on paper, but in the way we craft the story of our days. Anyone can string elegant words, but the sage writes themselves through experience, character, and the long journey of growth. For composing oneself is the art of living. It is the lifelong lesson of understanding, refining, enriching the spirit, and sharpening the mind. Every choice, every stumble, every rise becomes a chapter in our unfolding tale. No first draft is flawless, just as no soul is perfect at birth. Yet the one who lives consciously, dares to change, and grows better each day is crafting a masterpiece without ink or page. Even the finest book offers only knowledge. The self-forged soul carries living wisdom, light born of trials, perseverance, and love for life. Nothing in life holds value except what you choose to give it, and happiness dwells nowhere but in the gifts you offer yourself. We are the ones who breathe meaning into existence. Life does not hand it to us ready-made. Each of us sees the world through a different lens. To one, rain is sorrow. To another, it is nature's gentle lullaby. To one, work is a burden. To another, a chance to bloom. We alone decide the worth of everything by how we look, feel, and cherish. Likewise, happiness is not found in wealth, status, or applause from others. It is smiling amid the rush, giving thanks for the smallest grace, loving without demand. It is not something we hunt elsewhere. It is a seed we plant within our own soul. When we stop waiting for the world to delight us and begin creating our own joy, that is when we truly command our fate. As long as a person can still renew themselves, they are truly alive. Some halt in youth, having ceased to change, to dream, to believe they can become more. Yet others, silver-haired, burn like sunrise, forever learning, loving, beginning anew. To renew is to release the old, step past comfort, face the unfinished self, and sculpt something finer, like a river that keeps flowing fresh, still water clouds and stagnates. So too with us, only in daring change do we pulse with life and liberty. Each day we think anew, love deeper, live kinder than yesterday. That is the clearest sign of a soul still breathing. I wanted to change the world, but I discovered the only thing you can be certain of changing is yourself. The world shifts not by slogans, but by people brave enough to act differently. When we grow more patient, the air around us cools its temper. When we listen, the world learns empathy. When we live kindly, the world gains another shard of grace. Every grand transformation begins with quiet shifts inside ordinary hearts. Changing yourself is not surrender to reality. It is choosing to become a small lantern guiding others. For when one soul transforms, it sparks countless more, and then the world truly begins to turn. We cannot command the wind, but we can learn to trim the sails. So too, we cannot remake humanity, yet we can polish ourselves brighter every day. A person who has lost faith in themselves will surely lose many more precious things. When the flame of belief gutters out, every other treasure crumbles in its wake. Faith is the foundation of every step, the scarlet thread guiding us through the darkest miles. Without it, we stop striving, stop dreaming, and let fear take the helm. Opportunities slip away, bonds fade, and once bright dreams dissolve into mist. A soul without faith is a rudderless boat adrift on the vast sea of life. Yet the one who clings to even a flicker in the endless night still holds the chance to begin again. Faith is the seed of hope, the vital force that revives us after every fall. When we believe we can, we have already walked half the path. Only through joy and sorrow do we come to know ourselves and our destiny. We learn what to embrace and what to release. Those very experiences, bright or bitter, are the greatest lessons that carve us into maturity. Joy reveals what sets our hearts ablaze and teaches the worth of simple happiness. Sorrow, the stern teacher, forges resilience, humility, and deeper gratitude for what remains. If life were only light, we would never grasp the glory of dawn after darkness. Only by walking through wounds do we uncover the hidden strength coiled inside. Joy and sorrow are twin gates to self-knowing. One opens to love's embrace, the other to profound wisdom. Both are essential. As day needs night, as flowers need earth. We are not defined by what we own, but by how we rise after falling and still choose to smile. Betrayal does not wound you. What wounds you is how deeply you let it live inside your mind. The pain lies not in another's act, but in our own reaction to it. Betrayal is unwelcome, yet it only cuts when we trap our hearts in resentment and regret. By dwelling on it, we hand the reins of our feelings to someone else. The more we think, the sharper the ache, the harder we try to forget, the deeper the wound bleeds. But once we learn to release accepting, some people are merely passers-by. Betrayal loses its power to topple us. Pain from betrayal is natural, but lingering in it forever is a choice we can refuse. When we turn toward brighter things, toward ourselves, toward those who deserve us, the heart slowly mends. Forgiveness is not for their worthiness, but because we deserve peace. The most common despair is not being allowed to be yourself. No suffering cuts deeper than living while hiding your true voice, your real smile, your authentic self, just to be accepted. When we live by others' expectations, we slowly bleach the unique colors from our soul. Each day, we don another mask until, after years, we forget the face beneath. That is the quietest despair. Existing, yet no longer feeling alive. Being yourself seems simple, yet demands courage to say no when needed, to guard what you believe, to stand firm in the crowd without drifting. Only in living true do we touch real freedom and genuine joy. The world needs no more copies. It needs souls brave enough to shine in their own hue. And if anything is more terrifying than death, it is living an entire life without once being yourself. The most vital transaction of your life is selling yourself to yourself. We often trade labor, time, even dreams for money or approval from others. Yet the truest deal is not with the outer world, but within. Do you belong to yourself? Selling yourself to yourself is no bargain. It is a vow to live true to what you believe, love, and choose. It means placing the pen of your life firmly in your own hand. No one else defines who you are, how you live, or what you must become. When you belong to yourself, you are no longer a puppet of circumstance, but the captain steering destiny. If instead you let others buy your soul with praise, position, or fear, you have lost the greatest negotiation of all. No contract is more precious than the one that lets you live as you truly are. The task of a lifetime is not to rise above others, but to rise above your former self. Life is no competition where we measure strides against strangers. It is a long pilgrimage to conquer the fears, limits, and frailties within. Each day we try a little harder, grow a little wiser. That is the only victory that matters. By surpassing laziness, doubt, insecurity, we draw nearer not only to success, but to the self we long to meet. No fanfare, no rivalry, just steady, quiet steps forward, and we claim the grandest triumph of all. If you befriend yourself, you will never be alone. We chase joy and comfort from others, forgetting the most enduring happiness blooms from within. When we listen to, understand, and cherish ourselves like a lifelong companion, loneliness loses its sting. In the stillest moments, the steady presence of inner peace, confidence, and self-acceptance becomes our unbreakable anchor. Become your own best friend. So every day is not a search for someone to fill the void, but a celebration of the wholeness already inside. Every kindness we offer others springs from the kindness we first give ourselves. We can only truly share gentleness, love, and understanding once we have learned to treat ourselves with the same tenderness. A heart bruised by hurt, shame, or bitterness struggles to warm another, but when we forgive ourselves and honor our worth, that light spreads like one candle, igniting another without ever dimming. Kindness, then, is not an outward gesture. It is an inner river flowing from love and harmony within. Learn to let some things slide. That is the truest way to shield yourself. In life's hurried current, we easily snag on trifles, careless words, or unmet wishes. Yet learning to look past, not clutching, not brooding, Not letting the heart grow heavy over the unworthy is gifting yourself armor woven of calm. Letting go is not indifference. It is the soul's maturity, choosing release for serenity, smiles over grudges. In the end, protecting yourself is less about dodging storms and more about standing steady in them with a light, forgiving heart. Never deceive yourself. Of all deceivers, fear yourself the most. We spot lies from others with ease, yet remain blind to the comforting falsehoods we whisper to ourselves. We fool ourselves by hiding mistakes, clinging to illusions to dodge pain or failure. But self-deception is the deepest prison, locking us in fantasy, barring true progress. Honesty with self means gazing unflinching into the shadows, bravely admitting, not yet good enough, then striving higher. Only when we stop lying to ourselves do we live, understand, and grow in truth. Do you truly know yourself? If I knew myself fully, I would run. This mirrors the truth that we often fear our own raw depths, the weaknesses, selfish streaks, the hidden corners we mask with ideals. Knowing yourself is not just listing strengths. It is daring to face the imperfect, the contradictions, the darkness within. Many would rather flee than touch that truth. Yet courage to confront is the first step toward real growth. For sometimes, knowing ourselves is not to fear or reject, but to love, forgive, and heal what is still unfinished inside. I live not for what the world thinks of me, but for what I think of myself. In a world thick with stares, judgments, and molds pressed upon us, we easily lose ourselves chasing others' approval. Yet true worth lies not in applause or praise, but in the quiet peace of living aligned with our own heart, ideals, and essence. When we stop fearing others' eyes, we step into real freedom. Living for what we think of ourselves is living with purpose, meaning, and authentic joy. Only we know the battles we fought to become who we are today. What we can or cannot do, what we deem possible or impossible, seldom reflects our true ability. More often, it reveals our belief about who we are. We limit ourselves not for lack of power, but for lack of faith in that power. The greatest barriers are not outside us, but in the mind where we draw lines and call them truth. Believe you can, and half the journey is done. Doubt yourself, and every door slams shut. Belief is the torch on the path, the force that turns the impossible into reach. In the end, the world is shaped not by human skill, but by the faith people hold in themselves.